Thank you very much. We're going to do two recipes tonight using our Thanksgiving leftovers. And I was thinking that probably tomorrow night, if you had your dinner Sunday, then tomorrow probably is the last day that you can use up those turkey leftovers unless you froze them. But we're going to be cooking a super easy recipe from this guy. I don't know if anybody remembers James Barber, the urban peasant, but he was a great Vancouverite who wrote for the Vancouver Sun, and he also had a great show and very easy, unpretentious recipes. So the recipes we've got today are very inexpensive and they're very delicious. So come on over here, Lynn, and we'll get the stove going. The first one we're going to make is called Turkey African Style, and it's got just 3 very simple ingredients in here. So we'll get started right here on the stove. It's this. Get the oil in there. This is a really quick recipe. And the cool thing is, once it's done, because it's a great peanut sauce that you're going to be making with the leftover turkey, you can put it over pasta, you can put it over rice, I don't know what else, like squash, you can do lots of things with it, but it's so tasty. And what I love about it, it kind of breaks away from all the traditional turkey leftovers, right? We love our soup, we love our pot pies, but this is nice and warm because we're going to be using a couple of good spices in there. And it's just going to be really, really good. And you'll like it. So I've pre-cooked the onion and I've pre-cooked the celery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the chicken broth. So you got 4 stalks of celery and 1 full onion in there. And then what I have here probably is about 2.5 cups of stock, but I'm just going to probably add, I would say, a good 2 cups right there. And we're going to bring it to a boil. But what we can do in the meantime is add the peanut butter. And James Barber says to add about 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, but I'm going to do probably a 1/4 cup in here. And what I like about peanut butter, it's an amazing thickener. And in fact, I use it in pumpkin soup when I make it. I put in a couple of tablespoons of it. And I may add a little bit more pumpkin just to thicken it up. We'll bring it up to a boil. Yeah, it was really neat finding that old cookbook again. I had a couple of other recipes. I'm going to put a little bit more in here, but I had a couple of other recipes I was going to do, and I thought, how nice would it be to bring back an old James Barber recipe, because he was such a well-known chef here in Vancouver and throughout all of Canada for such a long time. And he had a show, and he was a lot of fun. He had a great personality, and he made everything just so easy and so good. What I'm going to do is add a couple of spices in here, and I'm going to add our leftover turkey. I'm going to get that in there too. So there's our leftover turkey, and our pot should be boiling shortly. And I'm going to throw a little bit of garlic in, and I'm going to throw in, first I'll do a little bit of salt. And I'm going to do some pepper. And the one thing you always have to do, as you guys know, is taste it. See if it's how you like it. Because that's the only way to find out. I mean, you can follow a recipe, but you got to add your own seasonings and stuff to see if it's good. So I'm going to add a little bit of this, a little bit of red pepper flakes. I'm going to add a little bit of chili, just nice dried spices that you can use. And I think while we wait for this to boil, we can start on our second recipe, which my sister's going to do, and that is called leftover turkey dinner nachos. So if you want to go on over to Auntie Kaylee there, that'd be great.
All right. So you can use a frying pan or a skillet, which anyone will work. And I've just added a little bit of Pam on the bottom of the pan. We do have leftover mashed potatoes, which are going to go on the bottom. So you can definitely, that smells really good.
Tell me if you need any extra spoons or anything.
Sure, I'll use a couple extra spoons. Sure. So you're making just a hole about an inch thick on the bottom for your nachos. A little bit more. It smells really good. Okay, so after the mashed potatoes about an inch thick on the bottom, the next thing we want to add to that, I know that we want our taco chips here, which we will just put in like so. Just a little, like a little castle. Here we go. We'll have those at the end as well. And then we have some chopped up turkey, cooked turkey, leftover turkey that we can sprinkle over top. It's really good. And then we also have our leftover stuffing, which I am so surprised that there's never leftover stuffing. Mm-hmm. But you can also, I think there was leftover stuffing, and you can also make stovetop stuffing if you need to make a little bit more if everyone's finished the stuffing. Put a little bit more in there. There we go. Okay. So there's your stuffing, and then the next thing we'll add on top is the cheese. What kind of cheese is this, sister?
I used, what was it? I think that's Gouda.
So some Gouda cheese, but you can't go wrong with really any shredded cheese because everyone loves cheese. And you can even do lactose free if you need to. They all melt well, so that's just a bunch of cheese on there. And do you want anything else to go on top of this, sister, before it goes in the oven?
I think that looks really good.
Do you want
how about, do the cranberries.
Okay, so the cranberries go next. That on top. Here we go. So there's that. So we're going to put this in the oven. It's actually at, is it through 400 degrees?
Yeah.
And we're going to put this in the oven. This will go in the oven. How long will it go in the oven for, would you say?
I would say
a couple minutes.
Yeah, a couple minutes.
Couple minutes in the oven. So we'll head on over to your stock that you're making, your sauce.
All right, you can see that didn't take long, and it's ready. I'm going to tell you, I did add a little bit more peanut butter, so I would say half a cup is in here, everybody. But my goodness, it's good. And I'll tell you something, you can make it your own. So tonight we're using turkey, and I'll take this over here. You can use turkey, but you can use chicken too. And you can use just beans if you wanted to do something more vegetarian. So I'll tell you, we'll put this over here. You can put it over pasta like that. If you could smell it,
oh, it looks
so good.
Oh my.
Yeah. Or we can just do rice. And the smell in here is so good. And then what I've got for some nice condiments to put over it, I crushed up some peanuts earlier. And here we go. We'll grab a little spoon to do that. Here's a spoon here. Thanks, sister. Okay. That's kind of nice. You got your peanuts over crushed peanuts. So that dish, honestly, took what, 5 minutes to make? And you can put some to make it all pretty. Put that over. And if you make this for your friends, this could be like your signature dish, one of your signature dishes. There's some nice parsley.
Oh, that's good.
We can put on. And just to add a little bit more color, we can put a little bit more, if you like heat, you can put a bit more flakes over. You can put a little bit more chili powder over. And we can do, I got this crushed garlic, which is really nice. And there you go. There's one dish made in 5 minutes, and people love this dish. So that was compliments of James Barber, one of our really great Vancouverite chefs. He actually passed away about 7 years ago. No, how many years ago? 2007. A quick story while we're waiting for our nachos. Many years ago, I was putting together a cookbook, and I was getting a bunch of celebrities who are Vancouverites to come and contribute. And this was in the day when you could open up a phone book. And I actually opened up a phone book and found James Barber's name in there. And I phoned him. He lived on Cordova Street. And I let the phone ring, and he answered it in his English accent. And I said, "Oh, is this James Barber?" And he said, "Yes, it is." And I told him what I wanted, a recipe. He was so nice. He goes, "Can you just hold on, dear? I've got something bubbling on the stove." And so he ran. I was like, I can't believe I get to talk to James Barber. So when I was reading a little bit about his life and that, he passed away doing what he loved in 2007. He was in his high 80s, and he lived on a farm in Cowichan. And apparently he was reading a cookbook, and he passed away of natural causes while chicken soup was bubbling on the stove. So I just thought that was so cool. So now please come look at what my sister just put together.
Okay, so I've taken the skillet out of the oven.
Oh, so gorgeous.
The cheese has melted, and obviously you can keep it in there longer if you want it crispier, a little bit more cooked. But then I've gone ahead and I've added a little bit of the onion or scallions, a little bit there, and then this is just the cranberry sauce on top. And then you've got your beautiful chips.
Oh, yes.
Those would be in a bowl,
Oh,
a
yeah.
pretty bowl, or who cares, just
Yeah,
from
who
the bag.
cares?
And then you can just go ahead and
Get in there.
dig in. Oops.
Yeah.
This is so good. Oh my,
Does that look good?
it's so good. This is like turkey dinner nachos.
Nice job. It's gorgeous too.
Oh my God. So good.
So gorgeous. And I think we've actually shown our 2 recipes in record time. I have no idea how long that took.
So yummy.
So I guess we'll unmute me.
That,
I think.
yeah, I've unmuted myself anyways. That was lovely. Who would have thought peanut butter with turkey?
I know
And-
Tom said that too. When I told him, he's like, "What?" But I mean, it's an African dinner, right? And they use peanut butter in a lot of their dishes, and it's just heavenly. The flavor is so good. A nice peanut sauce over rice or pasta, and with any leftovers. I mean, you can even just do it, like I said earlier, vegetarian with just a can of beans if you want, right?
So
Beans
good.
and peanut sauce over rice. Oh, it's so good. It's so easy. So,
And
and what
Same with
about
your,
the nachos? Yeah.
same with the nachos too. That's incredible.
Isn't it?
It is.
I have a
turkey dinner.
confession. We ate all of my mom's stuffing because she makes the best stuffing. So I did. That is, I ran out and got some today.
And it's so good.
Yeah.
It's
Still
just
very good.
lovely.
So there you go.